Let's go to our next community, Valley of Light, located in Virginia in the Blue Ridge Mountains. And we have Michael and Laura here to present about Valley of Light. So glad to have you both with us, and take it away.
Hello, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Michael, and I'm coming to you from sunny Gainesville, Florida. Although I am coming as a representative of the Valley of Light in Independence, Virginia. And I was introduced to the Valley of Light by my wife, my partner, on a 2-week vacation / tour of intentional communities. And she knew about the Valley of Light because she had visited there before for a work conference. And when we went as a family with our son, we just kind of fell in love with it. And everything about it just made so much sense to us. The land, the way the buildings were on the land. And then we started to read a little more about the philosophy and all the work that had been put into this community. And we were really excited to become non-resident members for now. So the Valley of Light is on the New River Valley and the Virginia Highlands. It's on the ancient New River. The New River is estimated to be the oldest river in the Western Hemisphere. It was thought that it was there even before the Appalachian Mountains, that the mountains rose up around the river. So there's so much beautiful land, and the 23 acres has some gorgeous houses and gorgeous buildings. The creek that borders the backside of the property is just this little intimate setting. And there's this beautiful kiva that's been built there, a sweat lodge, and here you can see our map. And the genesis of this community was in 2004, when the Oracle Institute was founded as a 501c3 educational charity. And this is kind of the heart of the Valley of Light community, where we're spreading our philosophy of love, truth, light. And we also have the Oracle Institute Press that has been founded. That was founded in 2005. And there's been many wonderful award-winning books that have come out through that press. In 2007, this land was purchased, and immediately it was threatened by just across the New River. There was also a plan to build a private prison and to basically take over the valley with this project. And the community fought that project and was successful in having that relocated somewhere else, a more appropriate location for that project. And the staff of the Oracle Institute visited the Damanhur, Italy project, where they received some profound inspiration for the guidance of the future of the project. And they would visit there again later. And in 2009, Laura, the founder, received a vision for the Peace Pentagon, a 5-sided building dedicated to building peace in the world. And here you can see the Peace Pentagon. It's an amazing building. You can read a little bit about it there. And in 2011, the Oracle Institute prevailed in a First Amendment lawsuit to build the Peace Pentagon. There were challenges to even, right from the very start, to build this very building. And in that same year, the designs were complete. In 2012, there was a groundbreaking on this building. And in 2015 was when the actual Valley of Light community was founded, with this Peace Pentagon and the Oracle Institute as its center, as its heart. And in 2016, a campground opened, welcoming guests to come and stay on the land to experience the project firsthand. In 2017, a peace pole and medicine wheel were built. In 2017, members attended the first Women's March supporting women's rights and the continuing evolution of human society toward a greater good, a greater balance. Here you can see some pictures of some retreats we've hosted, some gatherings, the colorful, multi-generational people who come and call the Valley of Light home, even if it's just for a weekend. In 2018, there was the Sweat Lodge was completed. In 2019, Laura was honored to host the members of the Damanhur community. After she had visited there and gained so much inspiration, they came and they visited. They saw all the loving work that had been done by this community. Here you can see the kiva and our labyrinth. This labyrinth is on top of the highest point on the property. It's really amazing. When you see it, at first, it looks like a giant turtle with this massive rock like its head. And on its back, they've built this wonderful labyrinth. And then you can see the peace pole medicine wheel there. We have gardens where we take care of chickens, goats. We're sustainably gardening. This is a multi-generational project. And this is a little bit about the central philosophy of our community. We're serving our community and we're serving the world through our own talents, engaging on our own talents in these paths: path of the native, path of the scientist, path of the artisan, path of the peacemaker, and path of the oracle. And there's a certain curriculum and a certain service mood that goes along with each of these paths. And we're receiving a mentorship from people who are already in the community. And I'm personally walking the path of the artisan, and I'm enjoying just understanding a little more about the history of art. And I'm looking forward to being involved with developing the inside of the Peace Pentagon. The outside of the Peace Pentagon is complete. It's about 40% complete, that project. The inside is just this beautiful shell just waiting for artists of all nationalities and all religions to come and just add their beautiful touch. And that's one of our calls out to the world: come serve. And eventually, when the community has developed and grown, we'd like to develop into a full 11 path. And this full spectrum community idea was developed with the leaders of our community and the futurist Barbara Marx Hubbard. She put a lot of thought and a lot of care into helping us organize and think, how can we really help guide society, guide humanity towards a greater good? And it's not going to be just by one path. It's going to be by a full spectrum approach, respecting all different views and all different ways that we can build and we can grow stronger. And there has been so much work that's been put into this community. That's something that has really impressed me about it and has encouraged me every step of the way. Our members have developed the founding documents of a constitution, the bylaws. There's a clear process by which one can become a member. And that's by engaging with us, visiting our community if you like, filling out an interest form, telling us what really draws you to community, and getting to know us a little better. Personally, I'm a non-resident member. I live in Florida right now. The dream is to move up there and be living in community in Virginia. But I'm really satisfied being a non-resident member because I feel I'm getting the opportunity to serve like this. I'm the FIC ambassador. I like coming to these meetings and engaging and letting you know a little bit about our project. and I'm looking forward to being more involved. I'm actually going up there for a couple weeks for a short vacation. I have a 2-year-old, and he's not coming with me, so it'll be a vacation of sorts. So I've just completed the new member training, and the revolutionary agreements was really helpful to me. And there has been so much invested in this community. It really shows when you visit the property, when you meet with our members, when you read our website, when you see everything that we've done, you'll understand a little bit more about our mission. And our campus closed for some time during COVID, but the work continued. During that time, there was 3 cabins and a bathhouse built, just beautiful rustic style cabins. They're rustic on the outside, but they're just elegant and totally finished out, like a complete beautiful house on the inside. And yeah, it's constantly evolving. It's constantly growing there. Coming up in the future, we have a men's retreat, and that'll be coming up in just a couple weeks. I'll put the link for that in the chat. That'll be our first men's retreat, gathering men together to connect to a deeper meaning of masculinity, finding a path for this energy that has been misguided in the world, and coming together, seeking ideas and how we can harmonize with that energy. And my partner and I will be hosting some retreats next year, a couples yoga retreat. So that'll be on our website, and I'll share a little bit about that. And Laura, the founder and the chief oracle of this project, is here with us on the presentation. And if she'd like to share anything else, I'll welcome her to share. And if there's any questions, I'll open it up for questions. Thank you so much for listening.
Well, I just want to thank Michael for the presentation. It's true, he is a non-resident member, but it feels like he's been here for quite a while, and he's a great liaison and community ambassador because he's so psyched to get here, and we can't wait for them to move here. We started this community after we started building the campus and realized that we wanted to live with like-minded people who share a desire to be of service in the world and who have done their work. I'm going to say that one more time, done their work, because we're really looking for people who are ready to rock and roll, understand the profound and unprecedented challenges that are facing us collectively, and who want to build a better world. So we're still seeking founding members. This is definitely not a place where you would come simply to grow food together, though we do that. It's not a place to simply bond and have dinner together and share your life journey, though we do that. The emphasis here is on being a teaching campus, and we're heavily patterned on the Federation of Damanhur in Italy. We have a very close connection to Damanhur, as a matter of fact. We publish books for them in the United States. And we just believe time is of the essence, and that if we want to save this precious planet, including ourselves, we better get in service quickly. So that's the characteristics we're looking for in members who live here.
Okay.
And we welcome people to visit. We really do. Now that COVID's a little under control anyway, we're starting to do visits again. So please, if you're interested, get in contact with us.
Wonderful. Yes, thank you both so much. Michael, that was a great presentation. And the photo, I'm just seeing it behind you, Laura, this photo of the Peace Pentagon. It looks beautiful. Really, really amazing work. Gorgeous building.
Yeah, the property really is stunning. I mean, we're right on our southern boundary is the New River, and then there's a creek that is our northern and our western boundary. So water, 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 which is, I think we all know, is going to become one of the most, if not the most valuable asset in the future. So we're in a very ideal location for climate change.
I'm looking and I'm seeing that we do have some questions coming in. So we have a few in the Q&A box, and encourage more questions if you have them. I'm going to read one that I see in the Q&A box out loud. I feel so excited to hear about your community. I would imagine many people would be very drawn to your creation. Can you say more regarding your membership process, especially if we are very interested in making a connection with you?
Sure. So let me just put this out there as a general statement. We spent years, literally years, doing research, contacting communities that we admire, asking to see their founding documents so that we wouldn't make some of the mistakes that others make. And that doesn't mean we're doing things perfectly. It just means we did our due diligence. So with regard to the acceptance process, we start with an interest form. It's just a 2-page fill in the blank form just to get to know you. Then we Zoom. The Zoom step was introduced during COVID. And we can learn a lot sitting for an hour in Zoom, a lot. And then we do a Valley of Light visit, we call it. That's a 2 to 3 day visit. And then if everybody's thumbs up, we invite the person to become a trial member. We start with a 3-month trial membership. And then if everything's good after 3 months, we expand it for 9 months. So it's a full year. And that's for resident members. The process for non-resident members is much simpler. But we've learned that it takes about a year to get to know one another and ensure that, you know, everybody's sharing the same vision, because that's the key, is sharing the same vision. So yeah, in a nutshell, that's the process.
Great. Yeah, thank you for explaining that. And it's great to hear that you've been drawing from different intentional communities, and it's a really great strategy to learn as much you can from what already exists. And yeah, and that multi-step process, folks, is somewhat typical of many communities. You know, never just go and show up and think that you'll be able to join right away. Most communities have some structure to make sure it's a good fit on both sides. Okay. All right, so that was that question. And are there any other questions out there for Valley of Light? I see Mary, you have your hand up, so thank you for doing that. I'm going to allow you to speak and ask your question.
Okay, I meant to hit the comment box, but I just wanted to say that I'm going to start crying. I'm sorry. I live in Idaho. It's a very difficult state to live in. And I've spent my whole life in service, starting grassroots. We've been fighting for things. But what you described and how you live is what I have been, sorry. It's what I've been longing for my whole life. Luckily, I had a father who understood nature like nobody else did. He was way ahead of his time. So he would, we cleaned up a lot of campgrounds. We did a lot of hiking. He explained, how animals live. Unfortunately, he hunted, but whatever. So it was more of a comment than a question. It's just that I feel like you guys have touched my heart. And so thank you.
Nice. Well, we're all, walking our talk, and, some of the paths are more introspective than others. Typically, like the path of the native, those are the people who take care of our animals and our bees and that kind of stuff. But we're intending to be out in the world. So like the path of the peacemaker, we do huge international conferences. We did a Building the New World conference last year. The Kogi visit, the people from Colombia, that was a United Nations partnered event. And we took them to Colorado and then San Francisco, and they opened up the Climate Action Summit. So that full spectrum approach, we really believe is important, because obviously everyone has their own passion and personality. So the common denominator, though, is wanting to be of service and helping to build the new world. That's the common denominator for everyone in our community.
Yeah. Thank you, Mary, for that sharing. Even if it wasn't intentional, it was really, really sweet and touching as well. So thank you. And Joan, I see you have your hand up, so you will be the last question. I'll let you go ahead and ask now.
Yeah. Hi, and thank you so much, Laura and Michael. I'm really enjoying hearing about your community, and I have a question focused on COVID. I'm wondering, just as a community with, I would imagine maybe some variation in how people view COVID and how they make choices around, you know, protecting their health and well-being. I just wonder how the community has dealt with that, and what you've found in working together in response to, you know, a situation that is potentially life-threatening and yeah.
So we talk about it. We've had multiple discussions about it. And Michael and Melissa, you know, have a 2-year-old. So that's the youngest member, so to speak. My mom is here, she's 80. So we're following the science, to answer your question. And while there's some dispute about some of the science, for instance, the booster, we're still researching. Is it all hype? Is it bullshit? Do they just, you know, they just want to make some money here on the booster? Or will we get the booster? I don't know yet. We're following the science. Michael, do you want to add anything? Because yeah, we've had serious debates on this issue.
Yeah, I appreciate that the discussion has remained open and that we're following the science and that we're clearly communicating our expectations to members and to people who are visiting. I think you know, we're all learning in a way. The community is learning. We're all learning as individuals how to respond to it, and yeah, I think we've found a good balance for now, and it's something that will remain to be discussed and remain to be open and, you know, subject to change. And yeah, I think the most important part is that the community, the project has stayed together, and that things are going on and people are staying healthy.
Yeah. And what are your expectations? Just out of curiosity, if I was, you know, interested in coming to visit.
That visitors are vaccinated.
Uh-huh.
Yes, we expect people who are visiting to be vaccinated.
Okay.
Yeah, if they're visiting as a potential VOL member, that's true. We do Airbnb some of our facilities when not in use. So I'm not making Airbnb people, you know,
Sure.
tell me whether they've been vaccinated. But for so far, that's the decision we've made with regard to the community. And we are taking it one step at a time. Yeah, everyone has to be vaccinated.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Joan, for that question. It was a good one. And it's also nice to hear your voice again. Yeah, I appreciate you both for that answer. And I know it's been something most communities have had to grapple with, and it's not easy. Yeah, thank you again so much for your presentation, and thank you everyone for those great questions.